Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Empowered Esquire TV. So, as I'm sure you are seeing from the title, we are going to be discussing today the Oscars debacle, which occurred involving none other than the Will Smith, Chris Rock, and of course, Jada Pinkett Smith. So, hello to everyone that has just joined us. I am going to share my screen and we're going to watch, just a video just to give us a little intro, give us some background. Okay. So, as I have in the description of this video, right, and as I am about to state now, fair use disclaimer for the video we are about to watch. Okay, fair use, fair use. And if you want more information on what that is, check out the description of this video. All right, so hello to everyone in the chat. Hello to Christopher Quintero. Let's hop into our intro video. I'm going to share my screen. I always announce that. Why? Who knows? Okay, and here we go.
A history going back to 1995, bad blood, worse jokes, and startling revelations. Here's how Chris Rock and Will Smith's friendship shattered. Things are not looking so friendly between the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air star Will Smith and comedian Chris Rock. During a live international broadcast of the 2022 Oscars, Smith slapped Rock after the host made comments about the actor's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. The heated incident began when Rock compared Jada's buzz cut to the hairstyle Demi Moore rocked in the movie G.I. Jane. Jada has been open about the fact that she suffers from alopecia, a medical condition which causes intense hair loss. As a result, her husband did not take Rock's joke lightly. In fact, the Hitch star went up on stage to hit Rock while millions watched. Once he was back in his seat, Smith shouted at the Oscar presenter, "Keep my wife's name out of your f***ing mouth." Rock managed to keep his cool and calmly told the crowd, "Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me." The violent confrontation came as a complete shock to those watching at home, as well as everyone in the live audience. As noted by the Washington Post, Will was initially seen laughing at Rock's joke, but his mood quickly changed. The Los Angeles Police Department even stated that they had been informed of the altercation. However, the department clarified that Rock declined to file a police report against Smith. But this isn't the first time that Rock has teased Will and his wife, and now this intense moment has people looking back at what may be quite a strained relationship. King Richard star Will Smith and Grown Ups actor Chris Rock have reportedly known each other for more than 2 decades. Their relationship goes all the way back to 1995, when the two acted alongside each other in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Additionally, Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, also has a past with the comedian. Jada and Rock starred together in 3 Madagascar movies. The trio's alleged feud first hit the spotlight at the 2016 Oscars when Rock decided to make digs at Jada for not attending due to lack of diversity among that year's nominees. With neither Will nor Jada present at the 2016 Academy Awards, Rock took a moment to poke fun at the celebrity couple. As he joked to the audience, "Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited." Rock went on to bash Will, who was snubbed that year for his role in Concussion, saying, "It's not fair that Will was this good and didn't get nominated. It's also not fair that Will was paid $20 million for Wild Wild West." Their relationship reportedly declined further in November 2018. When Will paid tribute to his ex-wife, Cherie Zampino, on her birthday, Rock decided to comment, "You have a very understanding wife." 4 years later, it seems matters have only gotten worse. It's also worth noting that Smith didn't apologize to Rock at the Oscars for the slap, but he did apologize to the comedian the next night on Instagram. However, when Smith won Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role for his part in King Richard, he used his acceptance speech to make some apologies. Smith told viewers he was sorry about the violent and unexpected incident, saying, "Love will make you do crazy things." He also cheekily added, "I'm hoping the Academy invites me back."
At my level, when I put something out in the world, people take it as the truth.
The actor was lucky he made it to his acceptance speech, though, as an industry source told People that Will was almost removed from the ceremony. It's not exactly clear where Smith's reputation with the Academy stands, but the global organization later denounced the onstage violence that took place during the broadcast. People's source also noted, behind the scenes there were a lot of people and different voices weighing in on what had just happened and what was the best and quickest course of action. People were also checking that Chris Rock was okay. Although Rock has reportedly agreed not to press any charges against Smith, there hasn't been any public comment from the comedian. Rapper Diddy told the crowd moments after the heated incident, "Will and Chris, we're going to solve that like family." It seems as though Smith and Rock probably need to spend some time apart right now. It also seems unlikely that Rock will be making any jokes about the Smiths anytime soon. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Nicki.
Alrighty, so as I stated before playing that video snippet, fair use, fair use. If you need more info on fair use, check that out in the video description. But Nappy Yankee would be proud of me in this moment, as he usually is the person reminding me to state fair use. Alrighty, so hello to everyone that is joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Empowered Esquire TV. Let me hop in the chat and say hello to some people. Hello to Nikki Justice. Hello to Nkrumah Toure. Hello to Black Anonymous. Hello to Fat Boy, aka Mr. Clarence Carter. Hello to Classy JTV. Hello to Mara Charisse. Mara, I have not forgotten about your business, Gemerit. Please remind me, Mara, to take us to the website today. Hopefully I don't end the live again and forget. But y'all, Mara Charisse has a wonderful business where she sells handmade, high quality, beautiful lounge and sleep garments for women. And we're going to check that out later. It's silk garments, which, by the way, are great for your skin. Okay, so Mara, please remind me that. Oh, and another, by the way, this is not sponsored. Okay, Mara's not paying me to do this or anything like that. All right, this is from the heart. Just so y'all know. All right, so let's hop into the topic. Okay, so as you can see from the title, we are going to discuss Will Smith, Chris Rock, and this Oscars debacle. Now, you know that we like to keep it legal here. Sometimes I may give a bit of commentary, but you're getting commentary everywhere, right? Everyone is discussing this Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. And everyone has a personal opinion about whether or not Will Smith was right or wrong. Everyone has a personal opinion about Jada and how she's involved in all these things. But what we do here is we look at what we can learn legally from these instances, right? I think it is unfair of any of us to proclaim publicly that we know why Will Smith did what he did, that we know how Jada Pinkett Smith was or wasn't involved, and that we know whether he was right or wrong, right? So that is not what we're here to discuss. We are here to discuss the potential legal implications of Will Smith's of Will's actions. Okay, Will Smith's actions. We're going to talk about, well, what happens to his Oscar, right? Can that be revoked? And if they try to revoke it, can he fight that? We're going to talk about potential criminal prosecution. We're going to talk about potential civil liability. Okay, those are the conversations that we are going to have. You're going to feel a lot more informed on the legal liabilities of this instance after this, right? Because I'm sure you're getting, as I said, the chatter and the gossip and the personal opinions everywhere else, right? All righty, so let us proceed. Now, I've created a document for you. When we really delve into things that are super detailed like this, I like to make you little cheat sheets, right? So I made you a little legal cheat sheet that's going to kind of guide us along the way, okay? And I've also queued up quite a few articles to help us understand what is happening in real time, okay? Because throughout the week, this thing has just exploded, right? Initially, when this first happened, I remember telling you all in my community tab, if you haven't visited my community tab, it's a party. Okay, so check out my community tab. So I remember prefacing with you all in the community tab that this was going to evolve and it was going to unfold, and that more than likely, by the time I went live on it on Sunday, it would still be unfolding, right? And so said, so done. Throughout this week, there have been numerous developments. So we're going to start with that, and then we'll head to our cheat sheet. So let me cue up for you this first article about Will Smith resigning from the Academy. And then we're going to talk about legally what that resignation means, because it doesn't mean what some people think that it means. Okay. And it doesn't mean what you may have been led to believe that it means. Okay. So share screen. Let's check out this article. So here we are. We're on CNN Entertainment. Will Smith resigns from the Academy. Let's delve into it. All righty. So here we go. After having an altercation with presenter Chris Rock on stage at last weekend's Academy Awards, Will Smith announced in a statement Friday that he has resigned from the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. I am resigning from membership in the Academy and will accept any further consequences the board deems appropriate, Smith said in a statement shared with CNN by his publicist. Smith's statement concluded, "Change takes time, and I am committed to doing the work to ensure that I never again allow violence to overtake reason." After the embarrassing episode at Sunday night's Oscars, the Academy announced on Wednesday that it had initiated disciplinary proceedings against Smith. David Rubin, president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, said in a statement on Friday that the organization has received and accepted Smith's immediate resignation. We will continue to move forward with our disciplinary proceedings against Mr. Smith for violations of the Academy's standards of conduct in advance of our next scheduled board meeting on April 18th, Rubin added. Disciplinary actions by the Academy include suspension or expulsion, along with other sanctions permitted by the bylaws and standards of conduct, the organization said. Smith has willingly left the acclaimed organization. By resigning, Smith will no longer be able to vote on Oscar-nominated movies and performances each year. His work, however, will still be eligible for future Oscars consideration and nominations. Okay. So let's talk about what this resignation means, everyone. All right, let me hop in the chat. Now, I want to have a conversation with you all about this resignation, okay? So Will Smith resigning from the Academy means that he, as an individual, can no longer participate in the decision-making processes of the Academy. Now, does that mean that he is given back his Oscar/Academy Award? No. Okay. Does that mean that his reward has been revoked? No. Can the award still be revoked? Yes. So it's very important that we take note that David Rubin says here, we have a scheduled meeting on April the 18th. We are going to continue being the operative term, everyone. Continue with disciplinary proceedings. So if in fact the Academy was totally finished, if they had completed their investigation, if Will Smith's resignation sort of ended this whole thing, then that would be the end of it, right? But David Rubin letting us know that they are continuing to discuss this means that there is a possibility that they will continue with more disciplinary action, which could include Will Smith's award being revoked. Now, here's the real legal juice of it, you all. We heard two mentions to a standard of conduct and bylaws. And you might be wondering, well, standard of conduct? Well, everyone, organizations such as the Academy, they have something called a morality clause. Ah, yes. So now we have gotten to the meat of our legal lesson today. Morality clauses. What are they? What is the potential morality clause that's operable in this instance? And how can that be used against Will Smith? Okay, so we already know that there are morality clauses, or a morality clause, rather, because we've heard from the Academy themselves that they have a standard of conduct. And a standard of conduct, y'all, is the same thing as a morality clause. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the morality clause portion, and then we're going to move on to some retaliatory actions that have taken place since this instance. And we'll talk about what could happen to Will Smith's career. Okay, what could happen. All right. Hello to Nappy Yankee. Yes, we do know what it is. How are you, Nappy Yankee? I already said aloud the fair use disclaimer and gave you a shout out and said that Nappy Yankee always reminds me to make sure that I say fair use. All righty. And Nappy Yankee is sharing with everyone the Cash App for the channel. As I always say, you are never obligated nor pressured, but if you feel called to, you're more than welcome to. All right. And as you come into the room, please hit the like button. The like button is a free way for you to support the channel. Okay. So there are only, to my knowledge, 3 likes on the live stream currently. And there are far more than 3 of you in the building. Oh, excuse me, 11. 11 likes. And there are far more than 11 of you in the building. All right. So take a minute to thumbs up the video. Again, that is a totally free way that you support the stream. All right. So now let's hop into morality clauses. I am going to have a sip of water because I'm going to be talking quite a bit once we hit our stride on morality clauses. All righty, let's get into it. So I'm going to share my screen. Again, like I said, I made you all a little cheat sheet, as I like to call it. All right, so you should be seeing that. Let's check. Perfect. You're seeing it perfectly. All righty, so morality clauses. Let's talk about what a morality clause is. If you missed the first part of this stream, David Rubin of the Academy has made it clear that the Academy has a code of conduct, a standard of conduct that comes with you participating in the Academy and its awards. Okay. And again, another term for a standard of conduct is a morality clause. Now, in layman's terms, a morality clause is something that governs, right? Or something that controls the way that you behave. All right. And so after I give you this legal breakdown, we're going to talk about some practical morality clauses that you may not even realize is a morality clause. Okay. Hello to Ish102. How are you? I think you're new. All right. So welcome to Empowered Esquire TV. If you are a newbie in the building, drop a 1 in the chat for your shout out. Okay. If you are a content creator, I'm going to do a content creator roundup, but if you think I may not know you're a content creator, right, give me a 1 or 2 in the chat. Let me know, hey, I'm a content creator, okay, because I like to do a little content creator roundup at some point, all right? So here we go. Morality clause. A morality clause is a provision in a contract or other type of agreement which prohibits certain behavior in connection with a person's private life. Such clauses tend to deal with objectionable or bad, air quotes, behavior, okay, such as S abuse and D use. Okay, so fill in the blanks there. You guys know YouTube algorithms, okay? All righty. So, oh, we have another newbie, Terry, the Notary Public. Welcome to Empowered Esquire TV, Terry. We are glad to have you. And Ish 102 says, been around, just quiet. Oh, that's fine. You've been in the bushes. Well, welcome to the light. Welcome. All righty. Black Anonymous giving a shout out. Black Anonymous wants to say hi, Nappy Yankee, Mara Cherise, Nikki Justice, and Kruma Ture, and of course, Empowered Esquire. Hello to you too, Black Anonymous. All right. So now, morality clause, as you heard from the legal definition, right? It controls a person's behavior. So it's a provision, a literal written provision in a contract or any type of agreement, right? Where it says you may not participate in, as I said, quote unquote, bad behavior. You may not do things that are objectionable, meaning things that would make us look bad because of you. That's really what a morality clause is. A morality clause says you need to behave yourself, even in your personal life, because something that you do in your personal life could make us look bad because we are connected to you. So let's make that a bit more practical, right? Remember in middle school and high school, you had this sheet of paper you were given. Sometimes you had to sign it, sometimes not, right? But you were given a sheet of paper and it was called your student code of conduct. You remember that? That was a morality clause, right? It was governing your behavior as a student. And it was your school telling you, hey, listen, we expect you to behave and we expect you to not do these things. Or we are what's my word? I just lost my word. We are reserving. There you go. Or we are reserving the right to enact discipline, to punish you if you violate this code of conduct. Right? There's another example. Teachers, professors at educational institutions, right? When they sign their contract has a morality clause. They have a code of conduct as a professor or teacher. It says you cannot do these things. You cannot participate in this type of behavior. Or we reserve the right to withdraw your employment and any of the benefits that comes with that employment. Okay, so here's an example of a morality clause in action. So as I said, educational institutions, right, they have morality clauses. Now, let's say once upon a time, there was a professor at a university. And that university had a morality clause. And the morality clause stated that the professor could be held responsible for behavior that he or she participates in their personal life. That morality clause specifically stated, if this professor participates in behavior in their personal life, which would be considered to be reprehensible, which would be considered to be morally wrong, and which reflects on the university in a bad way, in a negative way, the university can withdraw employment. That was the clause, right? Now, this professor proceeded to live, I don't even want to say the gender because, if you know, now this professor hypothetically continued to live his or her life, right? And so in the living of his or her life, this professor hits marital discord. This professor then decides to begin an open affair, right? An affair in which people pretty much know that this professor is having an extramarital affair. The only person who doesn't know that the professor is having an extramarital affair is the professor's spouse. Okay, so this is the example. The university becomes aware. So keep in line with the story here. Realize that this is totally personal, right? This has nothing to do with the professor's job. This is all happening in the professor's personal life. Okay. The university becomes aware of the professor's affair and of the public nature of it, right? The university then terminates that professor's employment. So listen to what just happened here. The professor did something in his or her personal life that led to them losing their employment. That is how morality clauses work. Okay. Hello to Cyrus. We got a newbie in the house. What's up, family? Cyrus, I hope you're subscribed. I hope you're subscribed, Cyrus. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. We might need to check on that. All right. I don't know if your name is pronounced Inike or Inike, but Inike says these morality clauses sound very vague and subjective. Well, Inike, some morality clauses are detailed, right? Because remember, your student code of conduct was not vague, right? It was be on time for class, report to class in a timely manner, turn in assignments, do not use profanity, do not use violent behavior, right? Your student code of conduct was not vague at all, right? And the example that I gave for morality clauses, I gave a summarization of the clause, right? But truth be told, the clause in itself probably specifically denotes certain types of moral behavior, and it may just denote, behavior within your fraternization, i.e., the way that you comport in your social life, the way that you behave in your social life. So, yes, some morality clauses are vague, and some people think that they are subjective, but guess what? They're legally valid. So, if a morality clause says do not enact intimately immoral behavior, and then someone has an extramarital affair, that's legally immoral, right? Because they're having an affair outside of their marriage. And so someone may say that's subjective, but legally that's not subjective. Okay. All righty. Mara Cherie says, yes, some are, others are not. Correct. Okay, so let's delve a little bit more into morality clauses, shall we? So morality clauses generally grant the right of a party, as I said, to terminate the agreement and any spoils of it, okay, if the other party behaves in an objectionable manner, okay? So let's have a quick combo about Will Smith before we dive into this. Another example, by the way, of a morality clause in action. So the Academy has a code of conduct. More than likely, this code of conduct says that they can enact discipline if the person behaves in a violent manner. I mean, that's extremely likely, right? Behaving in any type of violent way, being a part of any type of violent action that causes injury to another person is probably listed in the code of conduct as unacceptable behavior. That's very likely. And if it is in the code of conduct, then we know that all discipline applies, meaning that Will Smith's resignation is good for them, right? They're thinking that's great, but the resignation isn't where it ends. They can revoke the award and they can prevent him from having any further involvement in the Academy, which would include being nominated in the future. All right, Black Anonymous is giving us another example. He says, I was once called into my supervisor's office because there were rumors that I liked a coworker based on the idea that I was talking to the coworker and the coworker is of the opposite gender. There you go. Okay. So many morality clauses include what's called fraternization with coworkers. And that is a morality clause, y'all. If your employment contract says you cannot fraternize, you cannot date, you cannot socialize with your coworkers, that is a morality clause. So let's dive into this real life morality clause, shall we? So morality clauses most notably began during the 1920s, okay, after the 1921 Roscoe Arbuckle scandal. So Roscoe Arbuckle was an actor in the 1920s. Okay, so this is straight from Wikipedia, okay? Arbuckle was the defendant in 3 widely publicized trials between November 1921 and April 1922 for the alleged R-word and M-word of actress Virginia Rapp. Rapp had fallen ill at a party hosted by Arbuckle at the San Francisco St. Francis Hotel, in September of 1929, and she then passed away 4 days later. Okay? So, what happened allegedly was that this actor Arbuckle, he had a party, and this female actress came to the party, and they interacted with each other in a way that was later reported to be abusive and lacking in consent. There were some other things that happened to the actress during this party that led to her passing some days later. And Arbuckle was charged with the alleged behavior. Okay. Now, as a result, Universal Studios began to enact a morality clause. And here is what that clause said. The actor or actress agrees to conduct himself or herself with due regard to public conventions and morals, and agrees that he or she will not do or commit anything tending to degrade him or her in society, or bring him or her into public hatred, contempt, scorn, or ridicule, or tending to shock, insult, or offend the community or outrage public morals or decency, right? Or tending to the prejudice of the Universal Film Manufacturing Company or the motion picture industry. Now, why are we reading this, y'all? Because if this morality clause existed in the 1920s and it's amongst the first, then the Academy probably has one a lot like it. One more time. Why are we reading this, everyone? Because if this is amongst the first ever notable morality clauses in Hollywood, the morality clause of the Academy is probably a lot like this. All right, let's jump back in. In the event that the actor or actress violates any term or provision of this paragraph, then the Universal Film Manufacturing Company has the right to cancel and annul this contract by giving 5 days notice to the actor or actress of its intention to do so. Okay. All right. Don't want this part. Unnecessary. Okay. So now, let's talk about this morality clause. This clause pretty much says you cannot do anything that would bring you into public outrage. Now, based upon the response we've seen publicly in regards to Will Smith's behavior, it's pretty unanimous that people are in public outrage. Okay, people are in public ridicule as well. SNL made a skit about it, so we're definitely in public ridicule. Okay, are people shocked? Yeah, definitely. Are public morals and decency offended? Definitely. Because you have someone being violent towards someone else publicly. So if we were to say that the Academy has a clause that is very much like this one, then we know without a doubt that it is possible for the Academy to take further action against Will Smith. And as I said, that can include revocation of his Oscar. That can include prohibiting him from ever participating in the Oscars ever again. All right. Black Anonymous says, I was talking to the coworker about job-related topics, and these were merely rumors. What can I do about rumors? Good point. You can't do anything about rumors. And that just goes to show you, look, Black Anonymous had this entire debacle over rumors. We're not dealing with rumors here. We are dealing with video of Will Smith physically, I don't want to use that word, physically making contact with Chris Rock's face, y'all. Okay. Oh boy. Alrighty, so next we're going to get into the Oscar revocation and some more information about that. Okay, so before I head there, I want to say hello to Empress Kaya, Hello to, now I was corrected that your name might be French at our last live. And I have some Spanish proficiency, but I'm here to let you know not much French proficiency. Okay, so I am not going to butcher your name. I'm just going to put you up on the screen and say hello to you and welcome. All right. So, everyone, let me ask you a quick question. Let's have a quick check in. So, morality clauses. Drop a Y in the chat if you think that the Oscars has a morality clause that is probably a lot like the Universal Pictures morality clause that we just read. If you think that, no, I think the Oscars probably has a clause that maybe isn't as inclusive, then put an N in the chat. But give me a Y in the chat if you think, yeah, we're looking at a morality clause that is probably a lot like this Universal Pictures morality clause. I see one Y thus far. Inike says yes. She thinks that that clause is probably a lot like the Academy's current clause. Okay, we have some no's. All right, so eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who should I choose first? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go with Empress Kaya first, and she said it first. Kaya, tell us in the chat why you think the Academy's clause is probably different from the one that we took a look at. Let us know, because most of us think that, yes, it's probably very similar, okay? Mara Charisse, tell us a bit more in the chat. Tell us why you think that the Academy's clause is probably not similar to the clause that we just took a look at. All right. But in the meantime, it looks like, Terry says yes. Christopher says yes. Ish 102 says yes. All right. SC, that's what we're going with until I can get your name down. And Nappy Yankee also says yes. All right. So Mara Charisse and Empress Kaya, you've been called to the floor. By the way, y'all, this is a call-in show. I'm going to drop the link in the chat once we go through our cheat sheet. And you're going to be welcome to come on up, to come on stage and chop it up with me about the legal implications of this situation and ask me any questions that you have, any legal questions that you have about this situation, okay? All right, so I'm going to fast forward a bit in our little cheat sheet here, okay? Oh, we have another no. Cyrus says no as well. So Cyrus, you know the rules. You have to give us in the chat more details. We got to know why you're saying no, all right? So as we discussed, can his Oscar be revoked? Yes, it is still possible. The Academy has said that they are still proceeding with discipline. Now, could they decide not to revoke the Oscar? Yes. But could they decide to revoke the Oscar? Yes. And if you've been under a rock and you don't know what the Oscar was even pertaining to, Will Smith won an Oscar for his role as the father of Venus and Serena Williams in a movie called King Richard. Okay. And Beyonce gave that beautiful performance for Be Alive, which was her contribution to the soundtrack, which I love that song, by the way, y'all. And I love the performance. Just beautiful. Okay. All right, so Mara has something to say. So Mara says they've had instances in their past where many have forced amendments to make it more or less specific. Many forced kisses, I remember specifically. Okay, so I think there was an instance with, I believe, Halle Berry, where she was kind of like accosted on stage. I don't remember by who, but the man forced himself on her and kissed her, and it was weird. And so that is probably what Mara is alluding to. So the Academy may have a much more specified standard of conduct, Mara is saying. All right, let's see. Empress Kaya says, if that was the case, then John Wayne would have been barred or banned from the Academy award show when he attempted to attack a Native American woman. Interesting that you say that, Empress Kaya, but I want to bring to your attention, because let me actually queue up my article on this. There are people who have been banned for bad behavior, y'all. It has happened, okay? Harvey Weinstein is banned from the Academy. Bill Cosby is banned from the Academy. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring up that article so we can chat about that because it's happened, y'all. It has happened before. Let me cue that up. Is it this one? I gotta find the article that specifically mentions people who have actually been banned from the academy because it's happened, y'all. All right, so it's not this article. It might be this one discussing what's going on with Will Smith's career. It might be this one. Let us see. Hmm. I don't think so. Well, I've lost track of the article, but pay that no, never mind. Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby are amongst those who have been banned. So it has happened before. Okay, it has happened. It could happen. Cyrus says it's a higher standard. So Cyrus thinks that the Academy probably has a morality clause that is actually a bit more strict than this very, very, very old clause that we just took a look at. Okay. Interesting. All right. Mara Cherie says they are banned, but do they still have their Oscars? Interesting question. Now, I did not see anything about revocation. I didn't see anything about that. So possibly. Now let's delve a little bit more into our cheat sheet, shall we? So I can open up the stage. All right, so could Will Smith fight any discipline that he faces? So let's say he does face discipline, right? Let's say that they do decide to revoke his Oscar and permanently ban him. Can he fight that? Yes, he can. However, him winning that fight is not likely. Okay, y'all, stop everything. Stop everything. Doug is in the building. I got to get a soundboard, y'all. Let's add that to our to-do list because right now I should be like making all sorts of sound effects like boom, 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 boom. Don't mind me. But anyway, Doug is awesome. He is one of the world's greatest mods, okay, as crowned by me. I'm going to give him one of those like Umar Johnson-esque titles, like he's the #1 mod in the whole world. Do I know how you measure that? Who decided that? No, but I am going to say that Doug is the most requested moderator in the world, in the whole world. Yeah. Nappy Yankee says, Adrian Brody accosted Halle Berry. That was who did it. Okay. So remember I had mentioned that Halle Berry came up on stage for her award and this man just like accosted her and kissed her without her permission and it was weird. Nappy's giving us more details there. So that was Adrian Brody who weirdly did that. Very strange. All right. Black Anonymous is laughing. Yeah, man. Listen, big ups to Doug, most requested moderator, most requested moderator in the world. Who comes up with that? Who could have figured that out? I don't know, but I am saying that. I'm saying that. All right. And Doug is also reminding you all of the Cash App. I think I pinned it via Nappy Yankee. All righty. So now let's talk about, Brody kissed Queen Latifah too? Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. So now let's get into this case. So in Nadar v. ABC, now let me give you a little lesson here because right here you're seeing like a bunch of stuff, right? And this all looks like just stuff. If you're not in the legal field, that just looks like a bunch of stuff, okay? Oh, wait, Black Anonymous. Doug is the most requested moderator in the history of YouTube moderation. Yeah, so y'all make sure y'all send Doug a lot of love and a lot of gifts because he's a most requested moderator in the history of YouTube moderation. Oh, my goodness. Hello to Quizmatics. I like that name. That's a dope name. Quizmatic says, enjoying listening in as always. Brilliant work. Thank you, Quizmatics. Quizmatics says, keep up the great work. We will, Quizmatics. I hope you're subbed. If you're not subbed, you should be. All right. Let me see. Cyrus says, nice. Doug is still laughing. Inike says, Jim Carrey. Man, a lot of people were kissing each other without permission. Jim Carrey forcibly kissed Alicia Silverstone at the MVAs too. Oh, that's so weird. Just strange. Listen, y'all, don't kiss on people that don't want you to kiss on them, okay? It's creepy. It's strange. It's strange. And it's not legal, by the way. All right. So now let me break down what all that stuff and fluff means. Okay. So when you see 330 F period, sub period, 2D, 345, all of this is a locator. So think about back when you were learning, well, this is back when I was in school, and I don't know what they're teaching the children's nowadays. Okay. But back when I was in school, we had a class where they would teach you the Dewey Decimal System, right? And they would teach you how to navigate a library and how to find books and things like that. So think of this first little part here, this 330 F period, sub period, 2D, 345, right? Think of that as the legal world's version of the Dewey Decimal System. So you could literally copy that little snippet there, paste it into Google, and the case would pop up. It's the case locator. And a lot of these little words, it means supplementary, right? This 2D means second department, but none of that really matters as far as what it actually means. What you need to know is that this piece, this entire little piece here, let me highlight just that piece. It's a locator, okay? You can type it into Google and you can locate the case. Now, SDNY 2004, what does that mean? That means Southern District of the State of New York in 2004, okay? Then you see AFFD 150, right? Then you see a bunch of other stuff. What does that mean? AFFD means affirmed. That means affirmed. So y'all, that means that someone tried to appeal this decision and the appellate court affirmed, meaning a higher court said, no, that's right. No, that's right. Okay, that's what affirmed means. All right, I'm going to take a sip of my water while I allow you all to drop your comments in the chat. All right, I'm back from my water break. All right. So wait a minute. We got some interesting things going on. Nappy Yankee says that Jim Carrey also tried to kiss Will. Huh? Oh, okay. Quizmatic says Will Smith has also, there's a lot of forcible kissing going on in these streets. Will Smith has also forcibly kissed his, okay. All right. Hello to Kofi Quat. Ooh, I almost messed it up. Hello to Kofi Kwatamani. How are you? Thank you for tuning in all the way from Central America. All right. Thank you for being here. So while we're at it, Kofi just reminded me that I need to do my content creator roundup. All right. So I'm going to take it from the top. Here's a list of content creators that you need to check out. Okay. If I mention you and you're not a content creator, like I messed up and I accidentally said your name, hey, maybe you should start. All right. Nikki Justice. Okay. Check her out. Black Anonymous. Check him out. OCOV Fat Boy, aka Mr. Clarence Carter, and he's a part of the OCOV fam with the lovely Diva Divine Light and our whole people over there. We love them. Classy JTV, okay? Scrolling. Nappy Yankee. Scrolling. I think we may have got, oh, no, Empress Kaya, I don't think you have a channel, right? I don't think so. All right, so I think we've gotten all the content creators up until Miss Kofi herself, okay? And lastly, Kofi Kwatamani, check her out. Just as is said in her name, she talks a lot about how to identify cults, how to prevent being sucked into them, okay? She does amazing work, so check her out. All right. I see we're talking about Mara took the words right out of my mouth. Stop kissing people. Stop kissing people. Okay, just stop. Without their consent. It's weird, y'all. Okay, so back to my explanation about this. So AFFD means affirmed. Okay, this case was appealed and it was affirmed. A higher court said, no, 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 that decision was right. Then when you see APPX, that means appendixed as. Okay. Again, this section here is another locator. It's another way that you can see the further action or the appellate action that happened in this case. So again, if you were to just copy and paste from 330 all the way through to 54 here, you would have a locator. You could literally locate this case. Okay. And then that last portion here, right here, it just means Second Circuit, okay, 2005. So that's when the appeal more than likely took place. Okay. All right, so now let's get into it. So the court upheld ABC's termination of a soap opera star for selling a substance to an undercover cop based on a morality clause, which prohibited conduct that might tend to reflect unfavorably on ABC. Now, let's talk about that, okay? Ainike was saying that these clauses sound vague. And yeah, in your opinion, you could think the clause is vague, but the court doesn't. Listen to that. Any conduct that might tend to reflect unfavorably. That's it. That's it. And from that clause, the court said, oh yeah, they could fire you. They could fire you for selling substances to an undercover cop. Yeah, because that is some unfavorable behavior. Okay, that's causing a very unfavorable reflection. So you may say it's vague, right? And you could argue that it's vague. But when you think about it from a societal perspective, we have a pretty good understanding of what society deems to be unfavorable. Okay. And selling substances to undercover cops, yeah, that's pretty unfavorable. Right? So in its plain paper language, it could sound vague. But when you put on your society at large hat, you know there are certain behaviors that we're just not going for as a society. Okay. And so the court said, yeah, you can be fired for that, guy. And you're fired. Okay. We're not going to try to force ABC to change their mind on that. Okay. Mara Sharice has some videos too. Okay. Everyone check out Mara Sharice. Okay. Listen, you guys start making some more content then. If you don't have content, make some. So let's delve into the realization of that, shall we? So tell me in the chat, give me a 1 in the chat if you think that Will Smith, because he's Will Smith and he has more resources and et cetera, right? If you think that he could win a legal battle against the Academy, give me a 1 in the chat. If you think, oh no, it doesn't matter who he is, if he tries to fight them on any discipline, he's up S Creek without a paddle, right? Give me a 2 in the chat. All right. So 1 in the chat if you think, nah, he's Will Smith. You know, he's that guy. He could, if it's anybody that could fight the Academy and beat their discipline, it's Will Smith. Give me a 2 in the chat if you think, I don't care who he is. He is not going to be able to stop the Academy from disciplining him. Okay. I see the 2s rolling in. All right, Quizmatic says the clauses are written that way to encompass any unforeseen event that may damage or reflect poorly on the entity. Correct, Quizmatics? And so eloquently said. Let me tell y'all, here at Empowered Esquire TV, as I always say to y'all, it's all about quantity, not quantity. It's all about quality, right? It's all about quality and not quantity. And we have some extremely intelligent, acutely interpretive people here. All right. So thank you for that eloquent comment, Quizmatics. Yes, these clauses are meant to prevent people from doing anything that is going to make the company look bad. So you got to put on that society hat. And there are certain behaviors that in society we just know is not okay. Okay. We know that it is not okay to walk up to someone who said something you don't like and slap them. Not someone who hit you and you're defending yourself, right? Someone who said something you don't like and then your response is violence. We know that's not okay. Putting on your society hat, you know that's not okay. Okay, so it's something that is meant to prevent people from behaving in ways that reflect poorly. All right, so the twos are rolling in, but I gotta highlight some of the unique thinkers here. So Mara Cherie says one, she thinks that Will Smith could keep his award. You know, uh, here's what I think. I think that he could argue that he should be permitted to keep the award, but ultimately, I don't think he would win that argument. And I'm going to tell you why. The Academy is a private entity. Okay. So let's say I started the Empowered Esquire TV Awards. I like that. Oh man, I like how that sounds. Ooh, y'all. Wait a minute. Hey, let me text myself. Hold on, y'all. Let's say I started the Empowered Esquire TV Awards, right? And I decided I'm going to give an award to what's a show that I'm watching right now, to Stateless from Netflix. And I'm going to say Stateless has the most riveting drama of this year, okay? And then I find out that Stateless is like a ripoff of some indie movie and they never gave them credit. I am a private entity as Empowered Esquire TV Awards. So they can take me to court and they can say I'm being mean. But the court will probably say, well, she can give the award to whoever she wants and she can take it away from whoever she wants. So I don't know about that, Mara. I don't know. Empress Kaya says, I don't think he cares about the award. It's more about principle more than anything. Okay. Mara said, write that down. Write that down, y'all. We're going to make that happen. I like that. Shoot, I'm going to be out here giving out my own awards. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Why not? They give awards to a bunch of foolishness anyway. Black Anonymous is giggling. So am I, Black Anonymous. We're going to have ourselves a TV award show over here and start awarding some shows and some actors and actresses that deserve it. You know what I mean? That really, really need the exposure and the spotlight and are doing amazing work. All right, so let's press on, shall we? Because there's much more for us to discuss. So, prosecution. Okay. Now, if you did not know, Chris Rock declined to file a police report. Okay, so Chris Rock did not report what happened to the police. Now, many people think that that means that Will Smith cannot be prosecuted. Many people think that because Chris Rock did not file charges, quote unquote, press charges, right? Will Smith cannot be prosecuted. And that is not correct. So, as we discussed when we were discussing Michael No Facts, aka Brother No Light, I explained to everyone that there is something called evidence-based prosecution. So, it is when the alleged victim of a crime doesn't even want to press charges, right? It is when the alleged victim of a crime does not even want the case to move forward. But prosecution chooses to move forward without the victim. Okay? So Will Smith can still be prosecuted. As Black Anonymous so eloquently pointed out, we have video, y'all. He accosted the man on video. What do y'all mean Chris Rock didn't press charges? What more would you need other than a video? Okay? But let's discuss some details though. Now, as I said in my little answer here, the DA's office could move forward with a prosecution. Okay? However, without the police report, it would be difficult for them to meet their initial burden of proof. Here's why I say that. Yes, they have the video, right? But without a report in which you have Chris Rock's firsthand account of his injury, firsthand account of the way that things proceeded, right? They may have some difficulty in their initial stages. It would be up to the discretion of the presiding judge in that matter. Now, as Black Anonymous stated, they do have video. So there are some judges who would say, well, the video is enough for me, right? Then there are other judges who would say, I see the video, but I want a document in which I have Chris Rock confirming that this is him and this is what occurred and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So could he still be prosecuted? Yes. Is it likely? No. So note the nuance there. Could he? Yes. Is it likely? No. Okay. All right. And I say that because, oh, that's the end of our cheat sheet. Okay. And I say that because evidence-based prosecution, y'all, is usually used when there is a specific policy at hand. Okay. So what do I mean by that? I mean, evidence-based prosecution is usually specifically applied in an instance where that district has a specific policy that they're looking to push forward. So in a lot of districts where they have a specific policy on familial violence, they will routinely prosecute cases with no victim because it's familial violence. And they have a policy in that district that they have to start lowering their familial violence rates. Okay? So with these two men, they're both economically privileged. Okay? There wasn't a serious injury here. And they're also both men who would be considered to be not of any familial relation. So that is why I say it's not very likely. It could happen, but it's not very likely. So now that we have gone through all of the potential legal implications, okay, the last thing I'm going to share with you all before I open up the phone lines, or I shouldn't say phone lines, before I open up the stage, right, is what's happening with Will Smith's career now. Okay, so I am going to just give you all, where did I pull it up? Didn't I pull it up already? A little insight. Okay, so here's what's going on. Netflix and Sony have both reportedly put movies that Will Smith was set to appear in on hold. Netflix had a film called Fast and Loose, which was supposed to star Will Smith. That is allegedly on hold, okay? And then Bad Boys 4 is also allegedly on hold, okay? And then there's another series, an Apple TV series called Emancipation, which is also allegedly on hold. So thus far, we have 3 projects that we know of that are on hold after this entire debacle. Why? Because again, this type of behavior is seen as behavior that brings reproach upon, right? It's seen as a problem. And companies and entities don't want to be tied to that kind of behavior. Okay. So Inike is telling us that in New York State, a slap is considered a violation. Yes, it is. So is a push or shove. So yes. All right. So now I am going to drop the link. All right. And whoever would like to join me, again, I'm not cammed up. Okay. So you have no excuse. We don't want to hear that you're in your jammies, you got your bonnet on, you know, the locks didn't get retwisted in time. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be seen. It's audio only. So come on backstage, come and kick it with us and tell us what you think. Listen, I know you got a lot of thoughts. Okay, you're over there saying all your thoughts. So say them to us so we can chat about it. Okay. Angelica Diallo, yes, you missed quite a bit, but we're happy to see you. You know, here at Empowered Esquire TV, I know all of y'all. I mean, there are thousands of y'all, and I still know you all, right? I know your avatars, I know your names. So I know when I haven't seen you in a bit. So, Angelica, how are you? Are you okay? Because I haven't seen you in a minute. And we hope that everything's great and we're glad to see you again. All right. But you're welcome to take it back to the beginning of the stream if you want to catch up or catch it on the replay. All right. So, yes, everyone, the link is in the chat. Okay. I'm going to paste it again. Come on stage. Listen, y'all wanted call in shows. You got call in shows. So, I'm going to give y'all a few minutes, or as some would say, a fur. I'm going to give everyone a 4 minutes. And if you don't come backstage, we're going to call it a night, okay? But I am giving you what you want. Black Anonymous says, for the record, I thought Jada looked fabulous. I loved the dress situation she had going on. I thought she looked beautiful. I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. I really liked that dress situation. Oh, and if you're sucked into the Secrets of Playboy series, I am picking back up with that next week. Okay. I'm trying to commit to more lives per week, but honestly, y'all, it's not feasible. Okay. It's just not feasible. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's just not feasible for me. So I try, but it's not feasible. So I will pick back up with Secrets of Playboy next week. If you're sucked into that, don't worry, it will continue. Angelica said, girl, my bad. YouTube got scary for me. Oh, I understand. Oh, somebody's backstage. Who is it? Who is it? I heard the little noise that someone's here, but then it's not showing me. This is weird. Oh, there they go. All right, so Quizmatics is here. Quizmatics, I'm going to bring you on stage. Once you see yourself, right, feel free to just start sounding off. All right, start telling us what you think. So here we go. Quizmatics, you are on.
Hey, Miss Esquire, how are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. I really love your program and your content. I think I began following you a while ago, so of course I'm sub to you. Um, and I just think that it's very interesting to look at the legal aspects of all of this stuff.
I agree. And so, what have you thought thus far about whether or not Will Smith will have to give up this Oscar and what could happen to his career?
I think that this is just the beginning for him. I think that he embarrassed himself. I think he also um, embarrassed the Oscars or the Academy, let's say. I think that he definitely put a black eye on one of the most progressive Oscars. Mind you, this Oscar was produced by a black man. There were, I believe, 3 presenters, 2 of which were African American women. It was the most ethnically diverse um, ensemble of winners, Oscar award winners. And the only thing everybody will remember about this Oscars is that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and that's really disappointing. Aside from that, I'm a bit disappointed in Will Smith because I always considered him to be a very civilized individual and a classy guy. And Chris Rock has been doing this for over 20 years. And he's even done political commentary from a comedic standpoint, which is very difficult to do without having people really hate you. And Chris has pretty much had an unscathed career as well. I wish that he would have handled himself differently in that situation, especially being from West Philadelphia, Chris Rock being from Brooklyn. Both of these individuals have grown up. I'm sure that they had people in their schools and when they grew up who did things like play the dozens. If anybody's unfamiliar with that, when you have children, somebody's going to eventually say something like, yo, mama. And nobody is teaching their kids to go and put your hands on somebody over a couple of words, even if they're unfavorable words, because that's when people start getting arrested and, you start making your life more complicated for no reason. So at some point, we are all mature enough to know to keep our hands to ourselves. And Will Smith is a 50 some odd year old man. He has been in prestigious award ceremonies before. We've all watched this stuff our entire life. The comedian comes up there and they crack a couple of jokes, and that joke was relatively harmless. So I'm just disappointed that Will Smith actually went and did that, because we spend so much time looking for African Americans who are strong examples for our children. And, when we have the world as a stage, it's just a shame that we would, there's a saying that you could take a brother out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the brother. You know what I mean? So I'm just a bit disappointed in that. Now, when it comes down to him and his Oscar, ultimately, I don't think that, he's going to have a tremendous amount of ramifications, even if he's already resigned from the Academy, which, I mean, the only thing that's going to hinder him on is maybe being celebrated a little bit more. He's already super successful. He's made tons of money. Earning money in the future may be a little bit more challenging in the meantime, but I mean, Will Smith has more than enough money, so I don't think that that's really going to bother him very much. I remember one year that Jada Pinkett was boycotting the Oscars, in fact, which is another thing why I'm just disappointed that they acted out in this particular Oscars, because they were boycotting the Oscars over circumstances, which this Oscar had, I think, more than overcompensated. It was produced by a Black person, and we had a lot of diversity and tons of Oscar winners who were, a very ethnically diverse amount of Oscar winners this year. So, but then as far as the actual Oscar itself, even though it's unprecedented that they would take the Oscar away from him, it's not impossible. Every now and then you have situations where people want to make an example out of somebody. I don't think that they'll go that hard at Will Smith, myself personally. I thought initially when it happened, I thought that maybe they just suspend him from being able to participate in the Oscars for maybe a year or even a couple of years or whatever. But I mean, they could potentially ban him for life. What does it mean? I don't know. I mean, what is a fine going to do? I don't know. I think that it was very classy of Chris Rock not to press charges at the Oscars, because that would have just made it even worse. Also, I'm not sure what the statute of limitations Chris Rock has to decide if he actually wants to sue him out of court, because the damage that's done is definitely irreparable. I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's pretty embarrassing and humiliating, and it's on videotape for the world. They'll be looking at that over and over and over again. But ultimately, I just think that the biggest damage done to anybody is their pride. So hopefully Will Smith figures out what it is that's really bothering him and works on that, and I'm pretty sure that he will. Chris Rock's, it seems like his public demand is going up. So, I mean, that's good for him. But I don't think that Will Smith will lose his Oscar. I think that he probably won't participate in the Oscars for a while. I'm not sure if people are paying attention to what's going on, but it seems like, Sony and other entities are kind of pulling back on some projects that he already has. I don't think that that'll be super long-lived, but even if he doesn't even make another huge Hollywood movie again, he's already had so much success And
Hey, Quiz, I hate to interrupt you, but I'm gonna let Kim on and then
yeah,
we can
yeah,
continue
sure.
the conversation. Alrighty,
Yeah,
so
and I'm pretty much, done with most of what I have to say anyway. I mean, those are just my thoughts. I'm interested in your thoughts on Chris Rock. Should he sue Will Smith, and how long how
mm,
long should he have to be able to make a determination if he does want to pursue suing him, and basically making him pay for hitting him.
yes, so I didn't even touch on that. Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna answer that question in one sec, but let me first say hello and welcome to Kim. Kim, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Can I be heard?
Yes, yes, we hear you.
Great.
And Kim was telling me that she has been checking me out from the cloud. So kudos to Kim for, taking the brave step of coming on stage. So Kim, what's your take?
I was really disappointed in the whole situation because, as Quiz has said, this Oscar has been the most diverse Oscars that I can remember. I had stopped watching the Oscars for a long while because, it just wasn't interesting to me. And then when I heard that there was a Black production company that was, putting the show on, and I said, well, let me watch it again. Let me see what's happening. So, and I was enjoying the show up until that time. Um, I was really happy to see, for example, a diverse group of people being nominated and winning. I mean, a deaf man won an Oscar, an Afro-Latina won an Oscar. I believe there was an Asian person won an Oscar. I just thought that was great, you know. And then this happens. It's like, oh, uh, you know, I was, just you know, killed it for me. It's like, oh man, this happens, right? Um, I think I personally think that there's something going on with Will Smith internally. I am not a mental health professional, so let me qualify myself by saying that. But it just seems like there's something going on because I would think someone who's been in the entertainment business for as long as he has been, you kind of should know that, people are going to crack jokes, people are going to, make comments and things like that. And I would think that he would have had a tougher skin than what he displayed. I mean, my goodness, they crack jokes on Dame Judith Dench. So, I mean, if she could take a joke, then I don't see why Jada can't take a joke. I mean, that's what they do. They crack jokes on folks. That's all part of the deal. And he's been in the business for this long. You would think that he would have had a tougher skin and not react the way he reacted. So that's what I think.
I agree with that, Kim. Now, from what I saw, and mind you, we know that things could have occurred behind the scenes that we don't know. We get that. But
Sure,
the joke
sure.
that we all saw, I think what was so
Hmm.
shocking about it was that we just didn't expect that sort of reaction from
I
that
wouldn't have
joke.
expected it. And part of it too is that, they kind of put their business out there. You're talking about the
Right.
entanglement
Yep.
and all these kind of things that they talk at, the red table talks and all this kind of stuff. They kind of, the Baldy joke wasn't that bad compared to what they could have said. You know, I think he should be glad that Chris Rock didn't crack an August Alsina joke.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. That was my thought when I first heard, because I didn't watch the Oscars. So when I first heard, Will Smith, Chris Rock joke altercation, I thought, because my mind went straight to August Alsina. I
Yeah.
thought that was the joke that he made.
Yeah. I mean, the ball joke wasn't that bad. I mean, it could have been a heck of a lot worse if you really think about it.
It
You
could have.
know,
It could have been.
so
Chris
I think, and
Quintero has
they're making fun of Judith Dench of all people. If they're cracking jokes on her, then nobody's safe.
right.
So,
Uh,
I just think if you're in that business, you have to have a thick skin. You're in the public eye. People are going to make comments. They're going to crack jokes. It's just part of the territory, and you just have to be built for it. If you're not built for it, don't get in that business.
Good point. Good point. And Christopher Quintero says, Will laughed at the joke initially. Now, I didn't watch the Oscars, so I don't know. I don't know if he laughed at the joke initially. Did Quiz or did y'all see? Oh,
he did. Then he looked over at Jada, and Jada wasn't looking too pleased. And then that's when the whole thing changed.
Yeah, exactly.
interesting. That's even more interesting. Huh. Well, let me answer Quiz's question. So Quiz wanted to know, can Chris Rock sue Will Smith? Absolutely. And this would be a fantastic case because he has video. It's not Chris Rock saying Will Smith slapped me, it's video. And Chris Rock has a case that is multidimensional. He has a basic personal injury case, which is you caused me this injury, but then he has an emotional distress case, right? Because he has public embarrassment, he has potential reputation. Remember, a lot of Chris Rock's reputation is built on him being, like Quiz was saying, this guy from Brooklyn. And, no, we don't view him as a thug, but a part of his persona is his manhood. And he could say, well, I'm going through, emotional distress, number one, because I'm embarrassed, and number two, because you hurt my persona. You have me, a grown man from Brooklyn, getting slapped on live television.
I mean, and Chris Rock is approaching 60 now. I guess, if he were to follow that avenue, he could say this hurt his professional reputation as well as personal emotional distress and so on. I mean, that video is going to live forever.
Right.
We all saw it. Everybody in the world saw that video.
Absolutely. And I think
no,
go ahead, Kim.
It's like, Will, that was not the move, Will. It just wasn't the move. And it just dismays me, like I said, because he's in the public eye. He's been in the public eye for over 30 years. You would think he would have had a thicker skin and not go there, because everybody gets cracked on and joked on and, all this kind of thing. And it just comes with the territory. And, you can't go around hitting people who say something you don't like.
Right. And that's
we can't do it. So, I mean, I couldn't go around and just slapping somebody because I don't like what they said. I'd be in jail now. So, I mean, you just can't do it.
Well, it brings new meaning to the term being a slapstick comic. Right?
Good one. That's a good one.
Right.
I honestly think that Chris Rock has PSTD. I think that somebody needs to go sit down and get himself some counseling and stuff like that, and figure out how he's feeling about all of this, because now he is he's going to be a meme for the rest of his life, and he's going to be dealing with people cracking on him.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is as I said, emotional distress part of it. So if he were to sue him, which, mind you, we don't think he will, because he's already so wealthy, because Chris Rock is already so wealthy. But if Chris Rock wanted to make a point, right? If he wanted to prove a point and sue Will Smith, he would have a great.
He wanted to be like Cardi B.
Yes, like if he wanted to sue Cardi B and prove a point, he would have.
He might decide he has time.
There you go. He would have a great case.
And I don't think that Will Smith would give him much resistance on that either. I think that Will Smith would easily settle outside. Why drag it out? Will Smith is a gazillion times more wealthy than pretty much mostly everybody. You know what I mean? It's only money. I don't think that the money will really hurt him.
Right.
Yeah, he probably would just settle out of court for some undisclosed amount, and everybody will just go on.
And the only reason why I think Chris Rock should do that, only reason why I think that Chris Rock should do that is because of the fact that, I mean, there's nothing they're going to do to Will Smith that's really going to hurt him more than what Will Smith has already done to himself. True. And I just think that, at some point you just have to hold somebody accountable for their actions.
I agree.
So welcome Nappy Yankee to the stream. He's a vet here and one of our mods as well, and a content creator too.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Can you hear me?
What's going on? We can hear you.
All right. A couple of things with this. First of all, Will Smith told um Chris and everybody to keep his wife's name out of his mouth. Well, that didn't work. All right, because everybody's now talking about his wife. I'm not gonna, and there's some comedians that have gone in. I'm not gonna get too much into that. I mean, there's one. I just heard Lavelle Crawford. I think. I mean, the best one yet. I will say, but just look around. They've all gone in.
It's gonna
But
get worse. It's gonna get worse too, Nappy.
it will get much worse. Look, it's very hard to hate Will Smith. I mean, we've all grown up with I mean, legendary, hip hop icon and did a classic TV show and illustrious film career. He really messed up here. And it's still shocking that there are some people who are still co-signing what he did. All right. He wasn't protecting his wife. His wife, the place was guarded, was completely guarded and completely safe, security all around the place. I don't think his wife was in that much trouble. All right. But and let's stop it with he's from West Philly. This dude, Will Smith, is one of these entertainers where if he wasn't in entertainment, he'd be successful somewhere else. I think he was accepted at MIT, so he's not. This is not a hood dude, but I would like to see what how long Chris Rock has to file a case against him, because this is now a meme and he does have kids, and this is something that is going to affect him, I would think, forever. Even though everybody's behind him, there's somebody who actually spray painted a mural of this image. So this is something that's really can hurt him. And as far as his delayed reaction, because I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I would have done this or I would have done that." You got to understand, dude is in shock. All right. I mean,
Right.
it's like sometimes you ask
And
black
he's at the
people,
Oscars.
yeah. I mean, and he has the presence of mind that right before that smack, he's going to be giving an award to Questlove, all right, another black man, and the black man had produced it. I mean, I know people are saying they would have knocked Will out, which he should have, but understand he's in shock. And it reminds me of something that happened some years back when Rush Limbaugh was asked to be a guest host on ESPN. I don't know if you all ever remember that. It's during football, and he
Yep.
I
said
remember that.
some really racist
Yes, he did.
stuff. And Tom Jackson was sitting there, and Michael Irvin was sitting there, and Tom Jackson was. It's like, is this really happening? You're just suspended in animations. Like, okay, is this really happening? You just don't know what to do. It's like black people we're forced to be on all the time. We don't ask to be oppressed 24/7, but we have to be on all the time. So Chris Rock is in an impossible situation. He starts scrapping with dude, then he messes up the show instead of just stepping back and saying, you know what, let this all fall on Will. And he looks really bad. But my question is, and I don't know if you've answered it fully, Felicia, but how long can Chris Rock be 70 and say, you know what, this still hurts me, I'm going to sue him? Just like, the women who were, it's a strange comparison, but the Cosby situation.
Right. That's a great question. Even the ones that were about to go after Russell Simmons.
Yeah. So how long? I mean, could he be on his deathbed and said, you know what, just throw some litigation at Will? I'm still hurt by this. So what's the full answer to that really?
So the Bill Cosby and Russell Simmons thing, we have to remember that is going to be totally different, because first of all, there you're talking about criminal cases, right? Here we're talking about, can Chris Rock sue Will Smith, which that would be a civil case.
Right.
So it's important to note that statute of limitations in civil matters is usually shorter than criminal matters. You also have to note that there are loopholes in statute of limitations in criminal matters. When we talked about R. Kelly and all of that mess, I mentioned to everyone that the Department of Justice has an initiative. Remember, policies and initiatives are a big thing in prosecution, because most high-level prosecutors are politicians, right? So, for example, a district attorney, that's an elected position. right?
Mm.
Many state attorneys elected positions. So they have initiatives and platforms just like a politician. So the
Okay.
Department of Justice has a whole initiative against human trafficking, which is
Mm.
why there are many crimes that R. Kelly was charged with federally that in many states would have already timed out.
Okay.
The Department of Justice has a special initiative that they can reach back a bit farther because as a government, because our government has said, hey, we
Mm.
have an initiative against this. So
Also, let me
Rock.
throw this
Go ahead.
let me throw this at you. By the way, Will, when he said the joke, Will Smith did laugh, and his wife laughed. They showed another angle, and then Will Smith went up there and he smacked Chris Rock, and she laughed at that. They showed a whole other angle of that. You understand? And then it really got turned up because Will Smith started yelling. If he didn't yell, then people would have been like, okay, that's part of the show. But yeah, all around. And by the way, is 200 million, like Jim Carrey said, is that a realistic figure to sue the man?
Okay, so in most places, and it could be different in was the Oscars is held in California, right?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
So it could be different in California. But in most jurisdictions, this type of quote unquote assault or personal injury, most statute of limitations is anywhere from 2 to 5 years. So in
Mm.
most places, you have anywhere from 2 to 5 years, depending on your specific area, right, to file a lawsuit in regards to an incident like this. So
Mm.
Chris Rock does have a set amount of time based upon what state of California law says, but he can't just wait, indefinitely and then decide to sue Will Smith. Now,
Mm.
let's say he did decide to sue him. Would
Mm.
$200 million be realistic? Now, could he ask for 200 million? I think with Will Smith being who he is, yes.
Mm.
He could say, I am requesting $200 million in damages. Would
Nah.
he receive that? No, I don't think so, right? I don't think the injury in this case would lend to $200 million.
Mm.
Now, Mara Sharice has a question that I want to address. She says, can Chris Rock prove financial damages? He's making more money off of the issue. So, teaching moment, y'all. You don't have to prove financial damages in personal injury. Now, many times people do have financial damages because many times people have medical expenses and things like that, but they don't have to prove financial damages. You need to prove physical and or mental or emotional injury. That's
Mm.
it.
Mm.
So he could make money off of this and still sue Will Smith for it anyway.
Wow.
Excellent.
Man,
Good information.
man, it's unfortunate. And Will, like I said, Will, it's hard to hate him, but can we just let's everybody admit this dude screwed up? All right, big time.
Oh yeah, he screwed up
That's
royally.
that's all. Just admit it. I'm done with the conspiracy theories. I guess his resigning from the Oscars and losing parts, and this is all part of the conspiracy. I'm done with it. I can't. You know what I
Will
mean?
Smith
Oh, he
has more
messed
than
up
enough
big
money. I
time.
don't think the financial implications are nearly as grave as people are making them out to be. I don't think if Will Smith didn't work for another 10 years, I don't think that he'd still be broke.
Yeah, that's true. Unless Jada decides to divorce him, but that's another story.
Which may be
Oh
Um,
coming
Lord.
down the pike.
maybe,
They may
yeah.
have a prenup. They may have a prenup. I
And
don't
why would she leave him? She's already got him like a sucker. You guys all watch the Red Table talks. She's the one who got him looking more crazy than anybody else.
And this is gonna be on the red. Oh God, if this is on the red table talk, I'm just
It
gonna.
will
Can
be.
I
They
say
will be
something
discussing
Oh
about
it.
the
my
red
God.
table?
Yeah,
Yes, Kim.
Can I say something about the red table?
Yes, Kim.
yeah. Go ahead.
I think they need to take that red table to the dump
Mm.
Well, they
Oh,
did.
whoa, whoa. Why is that?
because it's just, I think a part of what is happening with Will, this is all simply my opinion, is because they tell too much of their business.
Facts.
Yeah,
And
that is
another
true.
question is, what good has come out of the Red Table? She got Aisha Curry looking crazy too.
Oh, they all looking out of their mind, But and also Felicia, let me say this too. I did send you two pretty juicy cases. One of them, obviously, Riza. The reason I had mentioned that is because that was something where I think it happened in 2018, and his mother had passed. She was sick at the time the mother had passed. So now all that litigation is still there. What happens? Does it all shift to him? So, that's one. And also Dame Dash as well. I don't know if you've noticed that happened. So just a heads up on that.
Yes, I see those and I put them on the agenda. I got to figure out where to make things fit because, as I said, going live more than once a week just isn't, I want so badly for it to happen.
Right. Well,
It just
well,
isn't feasible. So,
right. Well, the original one, I'm very, very interested to see what happens there because, the mother was basically going to take the fall for everything, which would have been crazy. But now that she's gone and they still committed insurance fraud, so I'm very interested to see what happens with that.
yeah, that should be interesting. I did hear some murmurings of that story. And as I said to you in email, I'm really interested in exploring the NOI Scientology connection. So, for those of y'all who don't know, I'm really into true crime
Mhm.
and cult education. That's how I found Kofi Kwatamani. And I have studied different cults, with my most recent study being Scientology. I've
Mhm.
watched tons of materials, I mean, hours of materials on Scientology. So I will definitely put that on my schedule because I'm very interested in discussing Riza Islam, that case, but also the irony of the NOI having a connection, with the NOI being who they claim to be, right? And
Yeah.
then them having this connection with Scientology. It's very weird. It's a very strange bedfellows.
Actually, with that one, there's no irony. They needed the money. It was a cash. It was a cash infusion, in my opinion, and many others. That's not too complicated. It's basically, they're both cult like, in my opinion. Well, they're both cults, in my opinion, but Scientology is big and they got a cash infusion. That's
Mhm.
basically it.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So you think that Xenu is running the world?
I don't. I mean, is that part of that Scientology stuff?
Well, Xenu's making all of the money, low key. They won't tell you about it, but
Ah, boy, goodness.
Well, listen, if you haven't seen I think it's called Scientology. I believe it might still be on Netflix. It's with Leah Remini.
Okay,
If
yes,
you haven't seen that, people, you guys got to check it out. It
she
is
she blew the lid off of it.
listen,
fascinating.
I will see it, and Reza was a Scientologist before he was an NOI person. So again, that
Mm.
that right there, there's in fact, I will say this. We all know Young Pharaoh's lost his mind, but he actually broke down the timeline of Reza Islam because those two were beefing at one point. And he did break down the timeline of Reza and the Nation of Islam. I said, oh, okay. Just put to the side that, again, the foolery that he's doing now. But that right there, and I'll see if I can find the link and I'll send that to you as well so you can see the timeline of, the scammery of Reza Islam and, his shenanigans. But that should be pretty interesting, man. So yeah, thanks for having me up. Another good live. I'm gonna step down to the chat, and chat, the line is still open, so come on up.
Yes, it was wonderful having you, Nappy Yankee. Always a pleasure. I'm dropping the link again. I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes just to let anyone else come up. But listen, let me say this about the aftermath of this Will Smith, Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett Smith thing, right? As I always tell you all, I want us to be mindful of taking this too personally. I want us to be mindful of picking sides and be mindful because remember, these people, they are living a life that is totally different. Listen, right now, you're facing obstacles that I don't think they've even considered in the past 20, 30 years. So view these things as just a lesson, right? View these things as an outsider, but don't get distracted and too far invested. Make no mistake, people like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith and Chris Rock, they're not you. And you're dealing with obstacles that are far removed from real life, okay? And they will be okay. All right. So the StreamYard link is in the chat. Quizmatics, you had something to add?
No, I'm interested in seeing some of your information regarding cults, and this actually connects in a certain way. I'm not sure if you're aware. I was shocked when I found this out recently that Will Smith is actually into Scientology also. And there is definitely a Scientology connection in Hollywood, a big and strong one.
Mhm.
Because I used to live down the block from John Travolta. He's into Scientology. Tom Cruise is into Scientology. Some of the biggest Hollywood people that you may or may not know are involved in Scientology, which is totally different than what you may be thinking. So I just agree with you that these people live a totally different life than the average person who's commentating on what they're going through, for sure. And maybe that may be adding to some of the stress that these guys are going through.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for letting me know that, Quizmatics. I think the show may have mentioned it, but they mentioned it so quick that, it was as if I didn't know any better, wink, wink, it was as if they knew better than to touch Will Smith. Because even when you watch the series, I think they mentioned him so briefly that I didn't even remember that they had mentioned that Will Smith is a Scientologist. But yes, Quizmatics is right. And they're not playing. I mean, the Scientology money, it's like monopoly money, y'all. A Scientologist will be expected to acquire $20 million for a new Scientology building.
Yep.
That's just the norm. That's the norm for them. So that's what I mean when I say these people are not living any type of relative reality.
I'll tell you, L. Ron Hubbard went a long way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, I don't see anyone coming up. So we are going to give a big thanks to Quizmatics. Thank you for coming on stage. You've been amazing. Great commentary.
Thanks for having me on, and keep up the good work. I'll be following and looking forward to more of your amazing content. And for those of you guys who are in the chat or just casually watching, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you can get all of the fresh content fresh off the press from this amazing empowerment channel.
Thank you, Quizmatics. Thank you. So listen, y'all, you have just tuned in for another installment of Empowered Esquire TV. I want you to know that you bring something unique to my life, to this channel, and to this world. And I hope you've been empowered by the information that was shared today. If you're catching this on the replay, tell us what you think, okay? Drop in the comments. Tell us, do you think that Will Smith will lose his Oscar? Do you think that if they try to take it away, he can fight this? Do you think that Chris Rock will sue him? We want to know what you think. All right, our replay team. Anywho, listen, I love you and I mean it. And I'll see you next time.